Hello and welcome to Model Train Fun. My name is Bo Jensen and today we are going to look at the latest software update to the Central Station 3 and the Central Station 3 Plus. That's version 2.4.0-5. This update just came out here in the beginning of March and we will take a look at it in this video. So I will start by giving an overview of all the updates that are interesting in my opinion in this update, and then I will go ahead and demonstrate some of these. However, don't forget that the update includes updates to the Mobile Station 2 as well. However, I'm not going to demonstrate them in here. However, the main update you can see here is that now you're actually able to control the brightness of the display. Enjoy the video. Now let's look at what's new in the latest update to the Central Station 3. So this is version 2.4.0-5 from March 2022. There's actually a lot of good changes in here. The first category of changes is what I would call an ease to use category. They continuously keep updating the CS3 such that it gets easier to use. It's nice to know that they care about the Central Station 3 and they continuously tweak it and update the user interface to make it easier. So this includes things from the Locomotive pop-up is easier to use now, easier to get into edit of Locomotive from the controller, useful enhancements to the edit article list. The track diagram selection has been enhanced. A new feature for pinning track diagrams have been included. The helps hadn't been sorted, and now there are QR codes for videos. A big group of features that I cannot show you is for multiple CS3s. So in the version description it actually says this will work for extension units. So I tried it from my Mobile Station 2 thinking if that's updated it could also do some of this stuff, but it actually cannot. So I suspect it's only for Central Station 3s. So if you have multiple Central Station 3s, there are some great enhancements here. First of all, it will automatically retrieve locomotive icons, sounds, and CV templates from the master. So that actually means that if you are on a slave device, then you only have to update your locomotives and so on one place, which is really on the master. So when you're configuring a locomotive, figuring out what the functions are and so on, it's only on the master you need to do this. I also understand that you can insert locomotive cards in another unit than you're sitting on, and you can actually read the locomotive card from that unit as well. So all in all, this makes it a lot easier, and they're more in sync when you got multiple CS3s. However, as I understand it, these features only work if it's CS3s. It will not work if it's together with the CS2, for example. But then again, I might be wrong. So if any of the viewers know otherwise, please let me know in the description below. Additionally, when you're making events, you can also choose which unit you want to play the sound on. Again, useful if you have multiple CS3s. If you noticed here, I marked the ease of use with green, and I marked the multiple CS3s with black. That's because everything that's green I'm going to demo later in the video. The DCC programming has been enhanced such that it will actually automatically read the CV value when you click on it, but it will not read all the CVs from the beginning. Additionally, now it will actually show the comments when you load the CV template as well. Other features, now you can actually monitor CPU and memory usage and the temperature of the CPU. That was previously only available on the web interface, but now it's also available inside the CS3 itself. Then there is, I would say, many things that have been updated and many bug fixes as well. One of the things that I noted that I brought forward here is that if you have a distant signal on a combined signal, now it can actually be set to blank if so desired, and you will need that when the main signal goes to red. So that has been updated. I haven't tried it myself, and I will not show it here. The item database has updated with the latest items from the last summer and autumn and so on, such that they will all be recognized when you add them to the CS3. By the way, all the bug fixes and so on, don't forget that the detailed list of changes is actually available when you use the web interface to the CS3, and there you can see the detailed list. I will include in the description below the link to the Märklin website with a PDF of the overall updates or the overall changes in these updates. Additionally, the MS2 can now be updated to version 3.148. So what does that bring? It actually brings the functionality that now you can change the brightness on the MS2. So you go into the device settings on the MS2, so shift and turn out. And if you scroll down there, you can actually find brightness and you can change the brightness. So very useful. You can change the brightness of the display, right? They have also optimized the memory usage of the MS2 such that remember some versions ago they added such that you could have many locomotives. So now it's optimized such that it won't run out of memory when you add a lot of locomotives as well. They have also updated the items database in the MS2. The interesting part is if you read the detailed version description, it talks about a new hardware variant. I kind of got a little excited till I read the fine print. So it seems like that due to all these COVID and Corona times, they had the need to actually change some components inside the MS2. So unfortunately, it's not a new mobile station, but there are, let's say, hardware changes inside the MS2. And they have updated the firmware to actually accommodate for that. And on top of that, there are some bug fixes as well. Honestly, I don't remember what they are. So these are what I found of the interesting updates. Please do note, if you look at the Märklin YouTube, although it's in English, they have a video on the 2.4.0, and they talk about additional things that it kind of seems like they're new. However, noticed in the description it says new update and tips. So actually what they did was they used the opportunity also to remind people of useful functionality they may not use today. Now let's look at how to update the CS3. For the long version of how to update the CS3, please check out the CS3 episode 2 on this channel. I'll put a link in the description below. How do I know there's an update? Well, you pull down the green tab. You can see over here on the system icon here to the left, there's a red dot. If there's a red dot, in this case it says 1, that means there is an update to the system. So we click on the system. You see it automatically went into a system setting, and if it's in a system setting you don't recognize, use the back button. When you're out here in the main settings, you can click the system, and in here you can see red dots as well. So if you're not on the CS3 tab, then you can click that over here. You can see there's an update here. You can see here where I have the CS3, there's a red dot here, and now you see over here below there is an update button. This update button only appears if there's an update available. So we click this update button. It asks us if we want to update, and we hit OK. It will go into the update installer, and you see that here. So now it's first looking for what is it that's updated. We are patient. You can see over here that it's doing something. Now you can see here all the things it wants to update. Okay. And unfortunately the updater is only in German. So the only thing you have to know is when you get to a screen like this where you can see what it is it wants to update, up here in the upper right hand corner it says updaten starten. So that actually means start the update. There's a play button here. We hit that one and now you can see it starts updating. You can see over here that the window keeps rolling with text. You can also see the progress bar down here below is actually moving. And now it's just a question of patience. So we wait. And now you can see it has completed. The progress bar is all the way to the right now, so it has finished. You can see over here to the left it turned gray. You can see the update starting is gray, and now there's an OK button, so we hit that one. And then the CS3 restarts. And now the CS3 has restarted. So now we have all the updates, and now we can start examining what the updates are. Now let's look at some of the updates here in the version 2.4.0. So the first thing I'm going to look at is the Locomotive pop-up. Remember, this is a feature you have to activate. So you pull down in the green tab from above. You go to System. When you're here on the System page, by the way, remember if you end up in settings like this, then you can use the back, and then you can go to System. Down here underneath Settings, there is a little checkbox, Pop-up Control Panel. If you activate this one here, then when you look at your locomotive list, so I got one locomotive here, you can actually click on this one and a pop-up will appear. Now the new thing here is that you actually see all the functions as well. In the past, you really only had the bar here to the left, and then you had to click the F up here to get the functions. However, I find this a very, very useful update because it's a lot easier now to control multiple locomotives simply by clicking them from your locomotive list. Another change there has been is if we move the locomotive over here to the controller, or the locomotive controller, so we got it here. And before, it was also the case, if I long press here on the icon, you see it goes automatically into the configuration. So that has not changed. However, what has changed is if I'm already in Edit Locomotives mode, so here I'm in Edit Locomotives mode, you can also see it here in my locomotive list, there's a little X and it looks different. So now if I click here on the icon in the locomotive controller, it goes directly into the configuration. So this makes it a lot easier to easily shift between the configuration and when you're operating the locomotive. Very useful. Another update there has been is to the accessories list or the article list. So if we go into edit article list, so in here, this I find extremely useful. It's a very, very small thing, but when I click here on accessory, you see the blue changes. However, the accessory underneath does not change. In the previous version, it was such that if you clicked here, it will both turn blue, but it would also change your turnout, which might not be what you actually wanted. So I find that actually very, very useful now that this has been disabled. And by the way, to me, it's not a big problem because you can either, in this case, go down to the triangle down here, and when you are in the settings installation here you can change the turnout as well, or you can simply go out of the edit article list. Another thing that is very useful is it's been easier to hit the little cross here in order to delete. Now you can select an item and then hit delete up here, but you can also click on the X. Now it's easy for me here because I'm showing using a mouse. However, if you had a finger, it was a little difficult to get to. So now if I click here a little next to the cross, you can actually see it will still go delete. So that actually means it's easier to hit with your finger. A good advice here though is, since they changed this, whenever you want to select something, select at the lower portion of the icon, such that you don't accidentally hit the X. All right. The next thing they have enhanced is the track diagram selection. So let's go into the edit trackboard page. So when we are in here, if we choose the square down here, so the square selection, I can basically select multiple items. If you did make the square differently in the old version, so for example, if I made the square from the bottom and up on the old version, it actually would not select the items. You could select using the square, but it would not actually do it. In the same fashion, when you drew the areas, you could make the square, but it actually wouldn't complete the operation. So that has actually been changed now, so you can see here, now everything is selected. In addition to that, what I find really, really useful is if you change the selection mode and go into the one with the circle here. So remember, the circle is good for just selecting some of the items here, right? But if you noticed, when you go between the modes, or if you go from the squared mode here and then you go over to the selection here, then it keeps the selection. Now, why is this useful? Well, that's useful because now I can actually grab these and I can move them around. So I can move everything around that I've selected with the squared option before. I could not do that because when I went into the round one where I'm allowed to move it, then the selection was actually reset. All right. Another cool feature is the pinning of track diagrams. So if you have multiple things open here and you're fiddling around with your fingers, sometimes you might accidentally move something here. So let's say the diagram here behind, as you saw me do right now. That can be annoying. So you can actually prevent that now. You can go up here where you can filter. So the filter itself has not really changed, except there's a miscellaneous down here, and that's a pin view. So here I can actually pin it. So that means now I cannot move my track diagram around. I can still, you can see, I can still zoom, so I can still use my pinch and so on, which is very, very useful, but I won't accidentally move it around. And the good thing here is, even when I change trackboards, you see, you can do that. So basically, when you got a view pinned, what you can do is you can zoom and then you can change between them. So that makes it very, very useful. Now the last thing in the easy to use or enhancement of usable features that's been made is the help. If we go into the system, I didn't find the help here. If you don't find that immediately when you click system, click the back button. So the first thing is that they say that all the topics down here has been resorted such that they are more intuitive and come more by topic. Honestly, I don't remember how it looked in the previous version, but they are actually in a nice order now, so that's really, really nice. The other thing is that you can also get to YouTube videos of items on here as well. So if I click here on, you see I'm on the second page, the item turntable, and I want to display the help. By the way, I don't remember this button either, but that's actually really, really nice. So I can display the help here. Here's the standard help. we carry on. We go to the last page here. You see here on the last page, there's some QR codes. So this is really, really nice because this means that you can basically use your camera on your mobile phone. You can hold it over the QR code here, select it, and then it will pop to a video actually showing you how to do this. Unfortunate for us poor suckers that don't understand German, there are only German versions of the videos. However, to me, it's a good inclusion into the help. Another update is the update to the DCC programming. So this update has been done for both accessories and locomotives. So I'm going to show it here for locomotives, but it is actually the same if you are accessing DCC accessories. Alright, so let me first pull up my menu from below. I'm going into edit locomotives. I'm going to click on my locomotive here, and now I'm going to go into the configuration. So in previous versions, already when you chose the configuration, it would start reading all the CV values and you would see it actually read it. That has actually changed now. So that actually means that it will not automatically initiate the reading of the CV values. However, it is still very useful as it is. For example, here, if I look at CV 29, you can see it doesn't really tell me what is the state here. However, if I click on this one here, you will see it says OK out here and it fills it out. So whenever you click on something, I could click on the 17 down here, you will see it says OK, and then it updates so you can actually see the value. You can also go in and you can say read out decoder, and then it will read out all of the values as before. So to me, I kind of find it nice that it doesn't start just reading all the CVs, because it could be a lot of CVs. And it is actually nice that it actually automatically will update it whenever you click on something else, such that it's actually easily visible what happens. So to me, I find this useful. It makes it a lot easier to do the DCC programming. It's a small change, but makes it a lot easier. Do note that this also means that the last video I made about programming the M84 there is slightly different now. You will actually have to hit read out the decoder or click the CV values in order to see what has changed. Now, other things that have changed in here is before, in the old version, when you hit save template, you could put in a comment. However, it never really appeared again. But now, when you hit load template, you can actually see when I click here the different templates, you can see the comments is up here, but it's also here to the right. So now you can actually read the comments that you have put in. And that actually, to me, is a very, very nice, because you could have several, let's say, for example, here as a DCC defaults, you could have several defaults for specific locomotives or something like that in here, and you can read your comment and see what they are. Okay. Another new feature is the monitoring of CPU and memory. In order to find this, you pull down in the green tab above, you hit the system. Now, if you don't see this settings overview, it could be that you are inside the settings here. You can click back, and then you can actually go into the system here. If we scroll down here, you will see there are several options. There is the option of background process date here. If we open this one, and then we go further down, the new thing here is there's a more button. If we click on the more button, there's actually a monitoring functionality here. That was actually also available previously in the previous version of the Central Station 3. However, you could only find it if you use the web interface. It is actually useful now that it's available inside the Central Station 3 as well. So here you can see how much memory is used and how much CPU is used. Actually, I should say it's how much CPU is used, how much RAM is used, and how much memory. Memory is really the file system. You can also see here the temperature of the CPU. So why would you need this monitoring, you would say? Well, if you feel the CS3 is getting slow, it could be because it's running out of RAM or it is running out of memory. So this is one place where you can go in and check whether or not that's the case. By the way, if it's running out of memory, considering using a SD card in your CS3 and put all your saves and templates and everything on there instead of putting it inside the Central Station 3. That will make the Central Station 3 work a lot faster. I really do hope you found this video interesting. If you liked the video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up and hit the like button. Do consider subscribing to the channel. The benefit is that if you hit the notification bell, then you'll be notified about upcoming videos as soon as they come out. And I hope to see you in a future video. Enjoy!